Hey guys, welcome back, Ricky here. Alright, so today I have a comparison between the Mercer Renaissance chef knife and the Wüsthof Ikon. These two knives are knives that you guys definitely want to consider if you guys are into European knives and you are shopping for a new knife. So I'll start with the Wüsthof, give you guys some of the specs of the Wüsthof, and then we'll go to the Mercer. See, the Wüsthof Ikon is one of those knives that you really cannot go wrong with. The handle is one of the most comfortable handles that you can buy on any knife. The cutting ability of this knife is also very fantastic. It's a very stable knife. It has a great cutting profile. It has a decent edge holding ability of 4 to 5 days for a German knife. That is very standard. And also the fit and finish is also fantastic. It really is second to none when it comes to fit and finish. The Germans really know how to build their knives. And this knife here is one of those knives that really has changed the way I feel about German knives. Because for a long time, the handles of German knives were never really comfortable for my hands. But when this knife came out and the way it actually is sculpted and is shaped, it is perfect for hands of my size. I really enjoy the way this knife feels on the cutting board. It has a very precise stop, so it has a very short flat spot towards the end of the knife. For me, it gives me a really good indicator of when to rock the knife or bring the knife back towards the belly. It is a little bit heavy in terms of the weight of the knife, especially in the handle area. It uses a palm handle, so a polyoxymethylene, which is a very good handle. It's very heat resistant, shrink resistant, and also bacteria resistant. It has a really nice distal taper, so the tip actually has a very thin cutting edge. So the bolster itself is actually fairly large, right behind where you would hold your thumb if you were using this in a pinch grip, or the choil, the neck area. And it has a very sharp, aggressive taper down to the cutting edge. It really checks all the boxes in terms of what you would want in a German style knife. Now the Mercer is a knife that has really surprised me in terms of how well it performs. First off is the steel. This uses the X50CrMoV15 steel. So that designation is basically telling you what the composition of the steel is. Surprisingly, the Wüsthof actually uses the exact same composition of steel. In terms of cutting performance, how does this compare to the Wüsthof? Actually, it performs extremely well, and actually in some ways it is better. So if you look really closely here, it has a very gentle radius from tip to heel, and it has no hard stops anywhere, which is really nice. For those who like rocking on their knives, sometimes a knife that has a flat spot in the back will have a more abrupt stop when you're coming down from the belly. This knife doesn't have any of that. It is extremely smooth. If you were to finely chop mushrooms, cilantro, and onions, really nice for that. It definitely is a very comfortable knife to use in that regard. The Wüsthof has a very slight stop, as we said, and so it feels a little bit more precise. So really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for more precision, the Wüsthof will offer that. But if you're looking for more freeform cutting, the Mercer actually feels a little bit better on the cutting board. Coming down to the handle, I was actually surprised to see that there are no gaps anywhere on the handle and the palm handle and the steel. I mean, this thing is airtight. Now this knife here is NSF certified, so basically it's designated as it's actually restaurant safe, and you can take this knife into any kitchen, professional kitchen, and actually use it. The Wüsthof is also NSF certified. Now, just to be fair, this handle is really more comparable with the Wüsthof classic knife. There are no sharp corners anywhere. I wish it would be slightly more sculpted, in my personal opinion, but it actually is very comfortable. It also has a really nice polish behind the bolster. Now, also with this bolster, something that is actually kind of surprising to me was it's actually more comfortable to hold in a pinch grip than the Wüsthof. If you look really closely here, the bolster on the Mercer is actually shaved further back and actually has a more even tapering. The polish on the spine is also very good. It's actually more rounded than the Wüsthof. The only time that is actually an issue is when you actually are sharpening this knife and your finger is on the spine. It actually, because of its very angular cutting, it actually is a little bit uncomfortable. Again, not dangerous and not hard, just slightly uncomfortable. The Mercer has a rounded spine, which to me is actually much more comfortable to use. It has an edge retention of about 4 to 5 days, which is actually on par with the Wüsthof. On the cutting board, I would say that they are neck and neck in terms of raw performance. So really the only thing lacking on the Mercer relative to the Ikon is the lack of the sculpted handle. But also keep in mind that sculpted handle is not found anywhere else on any other knife. 99% of the German knives that you guys will buy will have the same classic style handle, which is very comfortable for most standards. The only really negative thing about buying a Mercer is that they are not widely distributed like the Wüsthofs are. I mean, you can go to any retail store and find a Wüsthof. With Mercers, I think you have to buy them either on their website or on Amazon or on eBay. So they don't really have any major retailers that actually carry their knives, other than maybe some restaurant supply stores, which also are kind of hard to find depending on where you live. So in terms of sharpening these knives, both knives can be sharpened fairly well on a whetstone. I find that most stainless steel rods will actually work fairly well with most European knives that are heat treated under 59. And so I recommend you just using your stock steel that you have at home. So for those who want to bring your knife's edge to another level above what you would get on a standard rod or a ceramic rod, go and pick up a $20, $30 strop and buy $5, $10 worth of stropping compound. That combination right there will actually give you an edge that was equal to any Japanese whetstone of 8,000, 10,000 grit. Normally every week or two, I take my knives and go into the studio and do a long 3-4 hour session where I sharpen every knife that I'm using that week. But having a strop that actually has the ability to actually bring the knife's edge back to razor sharpness with just 10, 12 strokes has been just really, really nice. However, after 6 months to a year, your knife may need sharpening on a whetstone. Some people take them to a professional sharpener for 10 to 20 bucks per knife. That's fine. I really recommend you learning how to sharpen your own knives on a whetstone and then just keeping the strop around. If you actually do this stropping method every 4 to 5 days, you can probably keep your knife's edge for at least 6 months to maybe even a year. In this comparison, I really just want to talk about performance and price to performance. And that's the thing. That's where the Mercer really shines. I mean, it does not give up any performances relative to the Wüsthof. It is just as sharp as the Wüsthof. It holds the edge just as well as the Wüsthof. It is not quite as comfortable, so I will give you that. However, the fit and finish of the spine and the choil is actually better than the Wüsthof. If you are looking to buy a knife and you don't have a lot of money to spend, this Mercer right here shows that you can really get a high quality knife that is sharp, that is comfortable, excellent ergonomics, excellent fit and finish, and just an overall really good performer. So which knife do I actually recommend? Well, you guys know, I mean, I'm a really practical guy. I think that if you guys really just want to spend 40 bucks and get a knife that actually works really, really well, the Mercer is that knife. However, you really cannot deny that the Wüsthof has one of the most amazing comfortable handles out there, and for some folks that is everything. Ergonomics for some people is everything. And again, with anything, guys, don't listen to any one person. I know that some of you guys really respect my opinion. I thank you for that, but please take my advice with a grain of salt and also compare it to other reviewers out there and really get a better picture of what certain knives are versus just one person's opinion. I'll have links to both knives in the description if you guys want to check them out on your own time. I will have a side-by-side comparison, a cutting comparison of these two knives with vegetables and meats and whatever else that I'm making at home. So you guys will see the cut tests with these knives as soon as I can get them up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you guys are curious as to what my life looks like on a daily basis, head over to my vlog at Ricky Tran, which I will leave in the card here or in the description below. My vlog is much more an in-depth look at my life and to kind of show you guys exactly what happens. Nothing's being edited out. You guys are seeing exactly me as I am. It's the same person, just kind of in a different context. You guys will get to see everything, how my channel gets put together, what my schedule is like every single day, what my routine is like every single day. And for those who are curious about how to run a YouTube channel, I show you guys that as well. That's something that a lot of folks have asked me about. I basically show you how I run my channel and show you what goes on in terms of how I get my knives, how I started getting my knives, and what the process is of me producing my videos. I'll show you my setup and show you basically everything that I use. So if you guys are curious about that, would love to have you guys join me there. Again, I will leave the card here in the corner of this screen or in the description below.